Hi everyone, this is Perfume Coast, so welcome to my channel. Today's podcast will be fully dedicated to the release of the house Maboussin, which is called Star Cherie. So without further ado, let's jump into the ocean of perfumes. So this release came out last year in 2024. It appears to have been limited edition and it is a flanker of the original called Star. But first thing first, let's have a quick look at the notes at Fragrantica's listing. So on the top we've got almond and Brazilian orange. In the middle there's cherry, raspberry, lilac, jasmine. And finally in the base there's vanilla, tonka bean, sandalwood and vetiver. Now, I know that cherry-forward fragrances have overloaded the perfume market recently and continue to do so. However, this one is such an underrated gem. This is my new acquisition and 100 ml of this beautiful perfume, which, as I understand, was limited edition again. It cost me about 25 euros only, which for EDP concentration of a solid release is peanuts really. But I can see that it's still very much available on discounters as well. So this perfume opens in a very similar way to Kayali Burning Cherry perhaps, with a very distinct almond-smelling cherry pit impression. Also similar to Kayali, it's quite sweet. But what happens in a matter of seconds is the main theme of this perfume performance, so to speak. And what happens specifically is that the perfume starts to display tart qualities. It gets juicier and a lot more realistic image of boozy, tart, sweet maraschino cherry. The likes you may come across in a cherry jam or a cherry piece on your cocktail glass. A bit of paradox, however, is that along with newly born tartness, you can still detect sugary sweetness. It's just that a balance is done so perfectly that I'm getting neither suffocating sweetness or dry sourness. And this final cherry blend is simply gorgeous. Imagine syrupy sweet cherry liqueur that's thick and almondy as said before, but at the same time it's sort of mixed in with most realistic, natural, tart, juicy cherry. And the result is stunning. I do not detect any usual suspects often used to take cherry perfume to a familiar direction such as vanilla or amber, which also makes this perfume quite unique. I can see that this perfume is often compared to Tom Ford's Lost Cherry, but to me, this one is a lot more interesting. So what you are unmistakably getting here in any case would be distinct and bright cherry, and then this cherry has its own delicious qualities without utilizing low-hanging fruit of standard accords, which on the other hand allows this cherry to stand out without becoming something else. So if cherry is what you're looking for without getting transitioned into a gourmand or fougere or something else territory, try to find this one and test out. But let's also get reminded of the original, which is called Star, and yet another affordable, beautiful bet of Maboussin. And Maboussin somehow manages so well to keep their perfumes low cost whilst sustaining truly niche-like high quality. So here is a bottle of it, and let's get reminded of the notes of this one. So according to Fragrantica, what we're having here on the top is pineapple and fig. In the middle there's coconut milk and iris. In the base there's vanilla, tonka bean, praline, white amber, Virginian cedar and heliotrope. So the original is this woody, milky vanilla perfume that's quite complex. Having all these gourmand qualities, it also remains a touch bitter and perfumey. It also has a bit of creamy coconut vibe and fruitiness on the background. And fruity aspect is not really detectable on its own, but rather serves as a bit of freshener in this thick, woody, milky, creamy concoction. It also never gets cloying or overly sweet because of how beautifully and craftily this blend is done. Other popular perfumes it can be compared to would be perhaps Commodities Milk, Milk Musk by Molton Brown, as a more remote relative of course, and a lot more other woody gourmands. But at the same time, it's quite unique, again, because of a beautiful blend with addition of creamy coconut, fruity aspect, and supplying tons of delicious gourmand qualities. But that's it, guys. This wraps up the video. If you found it of any use, please give it a like. Please consider subscribing and sharing your comments. Thank you very much for watching, and I hope to see you in the next one. Bye bye.